Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes on the Rebirth server. We are with Iron Phoenix, our Iron Man mode martial arts super reflex scrapper, who's level 18. We're trying to beat level 19. If we can get to level 20, it will be our best Iron Man performance. And we're on a story arc for Penelope Yin, looking for her father, and this is the finale. We got temporary power, which will give us some extra clocks to do aggro for us. Let's talk to her and go to her store and make sure we've got the inspirations we need. I think we're going to go with an extra luck here and another 2-hit. There we go. So if you're wondering, I have checked our auction house. We still have not sold either of the two orange salvage that I put up for sale. I'm just going to leave them there. If we sell them, we sell them. If we don't, we don't. But it's obviously not going to help us anytime soon to get enough cash to buy enhancements. I do also want to apologize, guys. I went back and rewatched because I've been playing this so much. I haven't necessarily been immediately rewatching parts of the videos to make sure they're all right. And a few of my this is the multi-boss mission, so this is going to be rough. A few of my videos, the recent ones, have been very, like, the volume somehow was very low. I don't know what happened, because I use the same headset with the same mic all the time. This sounds okay to me now. It's really hard to test when I have the headphones on, because the headphones have separate volume controls from the way it sounds just generically on the computer, and I have the computer set to a constant volume with I never touch the volume on the speakers, so I always know exactly how loud things really are. It's hard to do that with the headphones because the volume knob, I tweak with that a lot, and I touch it sometimes when I just put the headphones on because there's a volume knob on the back of the headphones. They're really good headphones. It's supposed to be this great feature that the volume knob is on the headphones and the mute button. I actually hate it because I sometimes accidentally touch those things when I put the headphones on, and then everything is messed up and I don't realize why. But anyway, it's sort of hard to test. So I think it sounds okay now. I'm not sure what happened previously. I haven't changed anything about the recording settings. I have a slightly increased gain on OBS. I checked to make sure that that was on, that I hadn't actually turned that off. It is still on, so I'm not sure what's going on. Well, hopefully the sound will be good, and I do apologize that it was a little soft and you may have had to turn your volume up on your computer listening to the last couple of episodes. I do apologize for that. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me just fine at this point. So now we're going to have multiple bosses. I'm going to try to, since we have focus senses on here and everything, I'm going to try to do this guy without any inspirations and see if we can beat him, because I think we're going to need them later on. So let's pound him. Yeah, we need to hit first. Crits are good. Looks like we got him. If he's by himself, it's okay. It's if there are multiple minions around, then you have trouble. But that's not bad. So now we're going to turn these toggles off, because we can't afford to keep running them. We got lucky this guy didn't aggro to us until we were done. Alright. So now we have to rescue Mr. Yin. I don't know where he's going to be, and there are multiple bosses, I believe, to fight in this mission. And I think this mission was how I recognized, possibly on the Guardian, that we had not, I think it was the Guardian, I recognized we had not yet bumped the difficulty, because I knew that this mission had bosses in it when I played it before, right? After I guess I had bumped the difficulty. And and I kept seeing lieutenants, and I was like, I thought these guys were bosses. And that's when I realized that I had not changed the difficulty setting. So we're on our way to level 20, level 19, and hopefully level 20. If we get to 22, we'll have to worry about possibly getting single origin enhancers. Although if we don't sell those orange salvage, we probably will not be able to afford that, and we'll have to stick with DOs. I really do feel, I was saying this on my my supergroup's Discord. I was talking about how I couldn't afford DOs at level 17, and I went with a set of trainers, and I'm probably going to do DOs at 22. And I said, I feel like I'm back at launch. Oh wow, our endurance is way low. So let's take a knee here. Gosh, even with just the one toggle on, I can't keep going through and attacking. And that's because none of these powers have endurance reducers on them. Right? And it's just trainers. I mean, the toggles really shouldn't be that bad. I do have multiple endurance reducers on these toggles. But we don't have anything in stamina. And we don't have any endurance reducers on our attack powers. And so that's what's killing us. And there's the next boss. And oh, he's +1. So we will need to use some inspirations on him. I just love all the martial arts kicks. They're so cool. Am I going to be able to pull that guy without getting the boss? I might be able to hit the boss without getting that guy. If I kick him back this way, if he goes backwards, we might be okay. We definitely need this. I guess I'll have all the toggles on. That will definitely help. We'll try 1 luck, 1 accuracy, 1 damage so that we have more for later. And we'll go right at him. If we could have knocked him back, that would have been super useful. But we weren't able to do that. Maybe this way? There we go. A much stronger knockback. I really wish there was a way to enhance Crane Kick to have a stronger magnitude knockback. Alright, now we can take off these other toggles for now. What? Oh! That's hilarious. So he put a hold on me that was still in effect when I turned off Practice Brawler. It hit. So you can see what would have happened if we hadn't had Practice Brawler on. That's really funny. I didn't even think about that one. That's very funny. So you have to be very careful, right? If you take it off in the middle of combat, you could get killed from that. I don't think I would ever just turn off Practice Brawler in the middle of combat, but like if you're suffering from low endurance and like, okay, we got to turn these toggles off, yeah, you could die from that too. Or shall I say, be defeated. And we've over-aggroed here, which is bad. Mostly because I don't want to waste inspirations on minions and lieutenants. So one trick you can use, right, against range guys like that, is go around a corner. They're going to have to run up to you to attack you. One of the problems, of course, with our endurance at this point is that we don't have any slots really for damage. Even if we didn't have trainers, right? Even if we had DOs, we just don't have enough slots on our powers. Even if we were flush, right? Even if we had full DOs on everything, I would still have 2 accuracies on everything, right? These would probably be endurance reducers. Maybe they'd be damage. No damage here, obviously here, here. So we really don't have enough actual slots to increase the damage. And if we're increasing the damage, we don't have the slots to reduce endurance, right? Or have more recharge or what have you. I'm going to take this guy out, and then we'll go rescue Mystery in. That is so cool, isn't it? Knocking him onto the shelf. I don't know if people in today's computer game environment appreciate, and I've mentioned this before, just how amazing this was. That you could knock this guy over the balcony, over the railing, onto the top shelf, jump down on the top shelf, and fight him on the top shelf. Fully 3-dimensional. This was so unusual when this game came out. Most games were 2.5D. Right? They had vertical changes maybe like this, where you could, if you were stuck to the terrain, come up, right? But you could not do this massive jumping across to another three-dimensional object. They just did not model the game that way, and it was so awesome when COH came out that you could do that. It's so cool. Alright, now I don't know if we're going to have to beat the other bosses here, or if we just have to rescue Mr. Yin. So we'll go ahead and take one of each. We definitely want to put on Practice Brawler. And I forgot to take Focus Senses off, which was dumb, but that's okay. Alright, we're going to just go after this guy. With the luck running, the minions shouldn't be able to hit me very much, and I just want to get this guy out. So you can see his power, that hold power, is still working on me, right? It won't hit as long as Practice Brawler protects me. But you can see it still lasts. It's like, must be like a 10-second hold. Right? And because of that, it would still engage if I turned it off while that icon was still up here. Now, it won't engage now. I'm leaving Practice Brawler on, however, just so that as I escort him out, nobody can stun me or knock me down. I don't know if he's vulnerable. I don't think he is. Wow, guys, we're halfway through level 18. I feel like we're leveling faster now than we were leveling like on level 13, 14, and 15. I feel like since 16, it's almost like we're leveling as fast as we used to level at 11 and 12. Maybe we're just because we're fighting so many lieutenants and so many bosses. I guess that's why. And we also have been fighting a lot of +1s, and +1s really ramp up the XP. Oh, there's an ambush, but they're too late. We'll fight them after we get him rescued. We got a badge. And here's the ambush. Okay. I love that 1, 2, 3, and the crane kick just sends them flying. Man, the criticals, that's so awesome. Again, that's another one I wish I could increase the frequency of the crits beyond what that one ATO does. Alright, so we're finished with Fault Line now because the next contact, I believe, is Dr. Lila. And Dr. Lila will not talk to us until level 20. So we're going to have to wait to do her. And now we're going to head back. Now we had done Guy Denson, and he wasn't giving... Oh, he hadn't given me any missions, any story arcs yet. And he was just giving me junk. Is he going to keep giving me junk? He's keeping giving me junk. Alright, let's try it. Let's see if we can get him... It's just 15 lost, and at level 18, it should be fairly easy to take out the Lost in Skyway City. And it's right adjacent. The reason I'm doing this is we have to go through Southern Skyway City anyway to get to the train station. So let's just go ahead and do it. I want to see if we can get him to give me a story arc. If we can't, if we get his bar all the way up and he hasn't given me a story arc, then we give up on him and we go to the next contact. I'm not sure what's going on here because I think by this level, pretty much all contacts should be giving you a story arc. I think there were 5 story arcs in this level range other than Fault Line, right? Because Fault Line is new. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe not. So now we're in the Land of the Lost. We should find lots of Losties. Here we go. And it's just 15 guys, and they shouldn't be any issue. Wow, we don't need all these greens. Let's take one off, and as we get new inspirations, we'll ditch them. Up here is no good. Usually the loss are down below. Of course, I found some just now up there, but usually the loss are down below, Clockworks are up above. So the guys around here who were all oranges and purples the last time we were looking at it, yeah, well, they're whites and yellows now. Alright, so this is going to be a bit rough, but we're going to go ahead and take a couple of inspirations. Let's just go do it. Start with a stun on that guy. I don't know if it worked or not yet. Did. Okay, that takes care of him. By the way, one of my tactics, if you want to call it that, I don't know how much of a tactic it is. But one of the things I like to do when fighting a large group like this is just like whoever I'm going after, I'll jump after them. Like, so if I knock this guy back, right, I'll just go follow him and I'll just run over there and just go at him, right? And now the reason I do that is because it forces these guys to chase me, right? And while they're chasing me, they can't attack me, right? It is a rule of City of Heroes that attacking roots you, and their AI algorithm is designed to follow you into attack range. So if I'm over here and I'm surrounded by guys and I kick a guy, say over there, right? I'll just jump over. This is why I like combat jump. I'll just jump over them and go fight this guy. And now I've left the whole group back here, and they're going to have to run up. Now some of them may be ranged, but like the swordsman, they're going to have to run up before they engage me in melee again. And if I then turn around and kick them over here and jump over here, they're going to have to run up again. And so that's damage mitigation, right? While they're running, they cannot attack, and while they're attacking, they cannot run, right? So when you're fighting a melee character, or a character that does both range and melee, or one that has range but short range, like if he can't shoot me from this far away, doing knockback and then chasing him out of the crowd will mitigate some damage. That's not a lot of mitigation, right? It's not like turning on a defense toggle, right? But it helps a little bit. And let's take off practice brawler. We don't need that right now. I mean, technically these guys stun, but I'm not afraid of a single lieutenant who's yellow. You know, it's like whatever. Notice how little we have to use, how infrequently we have to use the. Oh, see, he did stun me. That's all right. Notice how infrequently we have to use the ghost slaying axe now. And as we get recharge enhancers eventually on our powers, it will continue to be less frequent. But it won't be. We're still going to be using some of this garbage, these garbage attacks, that the default attacks that, you know, like Nemesis Staff. We're still going to unfortunately have to keep using them into the 20s, which I don't normally do, because once you get SOs, you have your attacks go off quickly enough. You know, we have a complete attack chain. What do we need ghost slaying axes for? But because we're not going to have SOs probably at level 22, we're going to have to just deal with that and keep using the ghost slaying axe. Okay, so this is a pretty big spawn to fight without enough inspirations. Let's see if we can pick up a couple of inspirations, and then we'll go back to that spawn. Nope, not there. Stun this guy. There we go. And a nice knockback there. That's perfect. So 3 more lost to go. So we don't need that huge spawn. Let's see if we can find a slightly smaller spawn. There might be one over here. I see a flaming garbage can. That might be too far to target. Let's see. Usually there's a loss by the flaming garbage cans. Yeah. I guess I should say there are lost usually by flaming garbage cans. Alright, so let's do a stun. And then switch targets. Oh, I didn't switch targets fast enough. That's alright. He's done. We got him. Now the lieutenant's out. We got one of the inspirations I want. And that guy goes flying, and this will be the last one we have to do. And we didn't even use the little clockworks. I always forget about them. Now what are you giving me? Go to fault line and clear out the clockworks. Another street mission. Defeat 20 this time. What a pain in the neck. Alright, so this is probably the last one we're going to do for this guy. If he's still just giving me street hunts after this, I'm done with him. And we'll move on to another contact. We haven't fought Sue yet. Who gives us Sue? I don't remember. We haven't fought that Sue. We've done very little. I mean, kind of thankfully done very little against Circle. They're going to be really hard to fight without SOs in the 20s. We've done Clockworks. We haven't done Dr. Vajalok either, and we're getting close to the last level you can do that. That's no good. We need to make sure we find him. I hope we better switch contacts, I guess, after this, because I want to see if we can find Vajalok. Alright, so this is this guy should be no problem. Let's turn on Focus Census because they do a lot of range attacks. I do apologize if you hear my cell phone plinging at me. That's texting from a colleague of mine. We're grumbling about the arrangements for opening day of our campus for the fall, which is at the time of this recording, 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now. By the time I post it, may already be past. But yeah, they're having. When I first came to the university where I work, as a faculty member, when I first got here, they had this insanity, and I think it is flat out insanity to do this, where they would have an all-day series of meetings. So you'd arrive on campus at like 9 in the morning. Let's put on Practice Brawler so they don't stun me. You arrive on campus at 9 in the morning, and you they have a full-on all staff and faculty of the university meeting from like 9 to 11. Then they give you generously a little time for lunch, and then they would have another 2-hour meeting that is I don't care about you guys, so I'm going away. They would have another 2-hour meeting. There's some more Clockworks, but we gotta de-aggro these guys. They would have another 2-hour meeting that was with. So it would start with the university president, and he would. We'd have a 2-hour meeting with him. Then we'd have lunch. Then we'd have an early afternoon 2-hour meeting with the dean. Then we would have a 2-hour meeting for the department. Right? And so this went on, like, it was literally all day. You were just in meetings all day. It was long. It was horrible. By the time you got to the department meeting, which frankly was the most important stuff, not that the administrators would ever acknowledge that fact, where you were talking about the important stuff that you had to do in the departments this year, by the time you got to that meeting, I aggroed somebody else. By the time you got to that meeting, you were exhausted from all the meetings. And so that made it really frustrating, and people objected and complained about it. And when they changed administrations and the new chancellor came in, a new provost came in, they said, well, we're not going to do that. We're going to have the university meeting on like a Monday, the college meeting on a Tuesday, and the department meeting on a Wednesday, so that you don't have 3 meetings in a row like that. And so for years now, they've been doing the meetings once a day for 3 days. Now, this year, for some bizarro reason, even though it's the same chancellor who changed this years ago, they're doing an all-day welcome back meeting. They're calling it a faculty institute, which is just bureaucratic nonsense. So they're having another all-day meeting, or a series of all-day meetings. 2 hours in the morning, and then 2 hour-and-a-half meetings in the afternoon, all day long. And they're like, This is going to be great. Well, it's a welcome back. We're all excited to be back. This is going to be this awesome institute. Well, we're looking forward to it, and we know you are too. And I'm like, who in their right minds is looking forward to all day meetings? Like, literally, only administrators like meetings. Everyone else hates them. Right? Even in our department, the chairs always seem to love meetings and want us to have them, and they want them to last longer. We're scheduled for 3:30 to 5 on on Tuesdays once a month, and it always goes to 5:30. The chairs will always say, every chair has done this at 5 o'clock. I know it's time. You know the time is up, but we need to get this done. I'm asking everyone to please stay another half hour. Right? And the Senate, the faculty Senate used to do this. Like, they always go over. And we're just going to kill one of these guys, and then I'm just going to jump out. Because this is a nonsense mission. And we're out. They're not going to be able to catch me. We're just going to head out and leave the zone. And then they can't follow me. So yeah, I don't know. It's really funny. I've talked about this with a good friend of mine. When people are like in the department as members of the faculty or the staff, they hate meetings. And then when they become an administrator, they love them. And they think we're going to love them. And I'm like, do you not remember that 2 or 3 years ago, you and I were both complaining about going to this meeting? Why do you now think that now that you're an administrator, that I'm going to want to be in the meeting that neither one of us wanted to be in 3 years ago? It's sort of like the professors who forget what it was like to be students, and they assign like unreasonable amounts of work, and they don't seem to realize people have other classes. Now, I'm sure my students would say that of me, but I don't actually do that. I actually sit down and try to figure out how many hours would it take to do this, and I only try to take the number of hours a week I'm supposed to have, right? You're supposed to give me 2 hours outside of class for every hour in. And any student who tells me I don't have time for that, I say to them, then you don't have time for college, because it takes your brain 2 hours outside of class to digest and truly master what you learned for an hour in class. And that's the way the human brain works. Now, what you do in that 2 hours, whether it's reading textbooks or working problems or studying your notes, is up to you, but you've got to put the time in. So I very carefully make sure that the work I give my students outside of class won't take them anywhere near 6 hours, because I know they need the 6 hours a week for a 3-credit class, 3 hours a week in class, 6 hours out. So I try to give them about 3 hours of homework a week, and then that gives them 3 hours to do on their own. Now, most of them don't do the other 3 hours. But what I don't do is give, which I had as a student sometimes, you got like 10 hours of homework for the week. And I do try to remember they have other classes. And frankly, I guarantee you most of my students would say they don't need even the 3 hours outside of class a week every week if they're being consistent and coming to class. I try to make it so that they can at least pass without putting massive amounts of work into the class, as long as they're trying. And so I try to remember what it was like as a student and think about it from the student perspective. The students of today aren't exactly like me. They're very different from how I was, but I try to at least think, how would I feel about this syllabus or about this class or about this lecture? And if I were an administrator, I hope I would say to myself, how would I feel if I were a faculty member and I was calling this meeting? Okay, so this guy's just giving me junk. He obviously doesn't have a story arc. So we're going to go to the next one. And so we have all these detectives. I wish we could like zap them out of the contact list. Right? They're in the detective list. They shouldn't be in here too. I wish I could get rid of them. Anyway, so we have Vitaly, Sergeant, Bernard, Olivia Chung, Maggie Green. And those are the only 4. I wish we could roll a die 4, but I don't think you can. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and if we roll 5 or 6, we'll just re-roll. Four. That's the bottom one. So Vitaly, I hope you're going to give me something good. I think he does have a story arc, but I don't know which one. I hope he's going to give me Vajjalok, but I don't know if he's the guy who gives it. So let's get in there, and I'm going to check the time and see how long have we been doing this. This Let's Play. We're at 30 minutes, so I think we're going to stop here. There's a badge right next to him. You see it right there. Here it is. We're going to stop here, and we will talk to Vitaly Chernenko next time. Until then, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes on the Rebirth server in Iron Man mode.